No way. Mark slams Harry's deranged after his invitation to podcast about childhood trauma. Can't milk my fame. Prince Harry had the curious idea of engaging Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Mark Zuckerberg in podcast conversations about their personal histories. To launch his career as a star podcaster and to fulfill his end of the reported $20 million deal that he signed with Meghan, Prince Harry floated several ideas for shows that did not impress producers and that may have contributed to the company's decision to part ways with the couple. According to a report by Bloomberg's Soundbite newsletter, one questionable concept would be for the renegade British prince to focus on the issue of childhood trauma and to interview a series of controversial global figures about their early formative years and how those experiences resulted in the adults that they are today. Some of Harry's dream guests included recently indicted former U.S. President Donald Trump, autocratic Russian President Vladimir Putin, and polarizing Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, according to newsletter writer Ashley Carmen, citing sources with knowledge of the situation who spoke on the condition of anonymity. The California based Duke of Sussex also had an idea for a show centered on fatherhood, while another would tackle a major societal issue per episode, ranging from climate change to religion, Carmen also said. For the Big Issues podcast, Harry hoped to interview Pope Francis. This report about Harry's curious podcast ideas come a week after news broke that Spotify was ending the deal with Harry and Meghan, effectively canceling a second season of Meghan's Archetypes. The report also provides a backdrop to last week's surprising outburst by fellow Spotify podcaster Bill Simmons, who took his eponymous show to call Harry and Meghan grifters. Simmons, a former sports writer and founder of the Ringer podcast network, suggested that he had an absurd Zoom meeting with Harry to help him formulate his podcast ideas. I gotta get drunk one night and tell the story of the Zoom I had with Harry to try and help him with a podcast idea. It's one of my best stories, Simmons said. Back in January 2023, Simmons also said in his podcast that he was so embarrassed to be on Spotify with Harry. He said that the only way the dude can get attention is to write a book or give interviews, dishing about his unhappy life on the British royal family. It's one of those things where it's like, where's your talent? Simmons said on his podcast. Why are we listening to you? So you were born into a royal family and then you left? You saw documentaries and podcasts and nobody cares what you have to say about anything unless you talk about the royal family and you just complain about them. After Harry and Meghan signed their deal with Spotify in late 2020, they expressed their appreciation for the potential audio storytelling, according to The Hollywood Reporter. They said they wanted to embrace the extraordinary capacity of podcasts to elevate underrepresented voices. They promised to produce and host podcasts, note the plural, Bloomberg said, and deliver their first full series in 2021. Initially, Harry and Meghan co-hosted a half-hour of Christmas podcast in 2021, but their first full series did not come until late 2022 in August. It was Meghan's Archetypes podcast. Just 12 episodes, it was entirely Meghan's show, leading people to wonder whether her husband's podcasting career had been put on the back burner.